All right, all right. Welcome in, everybody, Rising fans. It is Phoenix Rising Live. I want to thank you all for coming out here tonight. Killian McClatchey, and your introduction here to your new head coach, Coach Pa, want to say congratulations and welcome to Phoenix.
Thank you. Truly appreciate it.
Yeah, so we're going to have some fun here. We're going to have some fun here tonight. We're going to ask some questions. I've got some here for you. We'll just kind of chat for a little bit. And then, there we go. It's hopefully be on. I was told it was on. We'll find out. But, yeah, so we'll have some questions here for you. We'll chat for a little bit, and then we're going to open some things up here to the fans here in the crowd, let them ask some questions to you as well. And so we'll just kind of jump right into it. First off, why Phoenix? Why Phoenix Rising? What made this job be the job that you wanted to take?
I mean, first of all, thank you very much for having me, and Happy New Year to you all. All right. And secondly is when you look at Phoenix Rising, it's an ambitious club. You know, I've been working in MLS, but every time you hear the name Phoenix Rising come up and you see what the club has been doing since, 2014, you know, and for me in my next step as a head coach, this is a great place for me to start my journey and trying to help a club, you know, that is also very ambitious. And having the conversation when I first arrived with the owners, plus the staff as well, I think it was the alignment, you know, of being an ambitious club and looking always to win championship.
Yeah, it certainly is. This is a club no stranger to a championship just a couple years ago. And so kind of we'll start off just looking at this club coming in 2025. The season's rapidly approaching. What are kind of your expectations and some of your goals for this team right now?
Well, obviously, we knew what happened last season, but last season, we're starting fresh, which is always a great thing to do. And for us as a club, like we say, we're always a club that is looking to win. So if I say anything else, that won't be right, but also hopefully that we get to host a playoff game at home.
Yeah, certainly. I know these fans would love to have a home playoff game back here in Phoenix.
Absolutely, because it's very important, and we know that in this league, the same as USL in MLS, when you get a home playoff, it really does help, you know, and for them to able to win it away, it's not the same feeling that when you can get it at home, you know. So hopefully with their backing every single game, and then hopefully we'll bring them the playoff home.
Yeah, certainly. So I want to talk a little bit just kind of about you, let the fans and just let all of us kind of get to know a little bit more about you. So you've got a long path. You spent time in Europe. I heard something. You speak 7 languages?
Yes.
What are the 7 languages? I feel like I got to ask you.
We have to start again?
I have to ask you. I haven't asked this question yet.
Well, look at Wikipedia.
Honestly, that might be the best answer you could give me.
Absolutely.
Right there. I can give you. So, but going back, growing up, did you ultimately know that you wanted to play soccer professionally, or is that kind of something that kind of grew onto you as you grew up?
That was the only sport in Africa. It's not like the US where you have basketball, ice hockey, and all this sport. We had football.
Yeah. So, in terms of that, so what kind of pushed you to be a professional and want to continue to grow in the game and continue to just be as good as you possibly could?
Well, to start with, obviously my dad played soccer, so you kind of have it in your blood. But the love of the game and the passion for it, for me, that's what drove me. And being a young kid from Gambia, moved to Norway as an 8-year-old, you know, and became the first fully black international for them. Obviously, the game has given me a lot. And what I'm most proud about is able to see different cultures, be able to travel, see different places. That enriches me because ultimately when you look at the game, we're still human, right? We are soccer players for 90 minutes, but the rest of the day, we're just like normal people, normal problems, normal life, you know. So for me, it's to be able to use it as a vehicle to inspire change and help other people grow in the sport.
Yeah, you mentioned moving at the age of 8 to Norway, and I do want to bring up a little bit about your international career as well. You mentioned it, but what was it like for you as an 8-year-old moving from Africa to Norway? What was that just like for you as a young kid?
Bizarre, because similar to here, right? I see the sun every day, and all of a sudden I'm in a place in the winter time and it's totally dark, right? You don't see the sun. And can you imagine somebody who's never seen snow? You walk out of the plane, you put your hand out, and you see some white things falling down in your hand and turn into water. So that was very bizarre, and it was very cold. So I was in my room a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mentioned that was one of the first things I said to him when he came up here. I'm not a cold person. He goes, I'm Norwegian. It's fine. The cold's not a problem.
Yeah, but now I'm used to it. But to start with, I broke a lot of beds because I was playing football on my bed.
Love that. What were some of the challenges, at least soccer-wise, moving to Norway and then having to be there and trying to kind of grow up in a different place? Obviously, you had all of the personal things, trying to figure out, hey, what is snow? It's so cold, all this new life. What soccer challenges were there for you growing up, too?
Well, to start with, none, because, again, like I said, I have this quote that there's 32 panels on the ball, and there's leather, and you add air. We put it down here, we all can play. So that was not a much challenge because everybody loved the game of football, but the challenges was mostly outside of the game, because when I was in Norway, there was not a lot of immigrants or minorities. So you were looked a little bit differently, but that didn't stop me because I knew what I wanted to do. But again, the love of the game will always, prevail. So for me, I used it as a vehicle, and I continue to use it as a vehicle. So the rest is always what it is, right? We're still in 2025, and we're still having the same issues, so it ain't going to go away.
That's very true. And so you mentioned your dad played. How much of an influence did he have on you just kind of growing up and learning the game and what it took to be a professional?
Well, obviously, he gave me a lot of tips, but mostly he allowed me to discover myself, because he was not that he was. The best way to describe my dad is he never raises his voice. He's always observant, but when he speaks, you listen. So for me, growing up, it was always you are you, figure your path, but he was always there in the background supporting.
Yeah, and so your professional career playing-wise, I think one of the questions that I was kind of thinking it'd be, we hear all the time, you talk to rookies in U.S. sports and football, what was your welcome to the league moment? For you as a professional, did you ever have a moment where you were in a game and going, okay, yeah, I am now a professional, like this is the big leagues?
Well, obviously, it starts with, when you sign the contract, right? Because then now you know that, all right, you're going to be a professional. But obviously, it's going into the game and facing at the time I was facing a striker, and he spun me, and then he put in the back of the net. So you kind of like look around and everybody just looking at you. So you kind of know, all right, it's different than playing in the youth.
All eyes on you and not for a good reason?
Absolutely not.
So kind of looking a little bit towards this team and kind of what you want to do, what would you say your coaching style, your philosophy, your methods are, and kind of what do you think that you want to bring to this club?
I mean, when I look at this team, when we look at this team, obviously I got also my staff here, and we spend a lot of time looking at what kind of players do we want to bring into this team. The first and foremost, the most important thing is that we want players that really sees Phoenix rising as a club of destiny, right? Their desire to be here, their desire to play for these people that are here today, and the more that's going to be in the stadium, because that's what football is about. Football is about the fans, the community, and the players. So we wanted players that truly wanted to come here, showcase themselves, help this club win.
What kind of mentality are you looking for from these guys? Obviously, you want guys to win. Obviously, you want to do it in a certain way. Obviously, you want to put the ball in the back of the net. But there's got to be a way that you want to get it done. Is there a certain kind of mentality and way that you want these guys to be?
Well, it's not only mentality. Obviously, mentality is one of the biggest things to have. But for me, having a football IQ and understanding the game, first and foremost, is the most important thing. And then secondly is the passion and the love for the game. Because ultimately, if you don't have that, it's very difficult for you to bring your mentality. So I think for me, the biggest thing for the players and for the biggest thing that we always said about it is that, you have to have the passion and the desire. Because when you step on the pitch, you're not only playing for yourself. Like I said, you're playing for the fans, you're playing for the community, you're playing for your family. So you're playing for a lot of other things that going to have effect on you. But making sure that you have love for the game and enjoy it. Because at the end of the day, we just playing football, right? It's not a life and death. There's other more serious things in the world than just football. So, I call it serious fun. You have to find the balance.
Yeah. No, I really like that. 22 people playing on a thing of grass with a ball. Pretty simple, right?
And 10,000 shouting at them.
There we go. There we go. And so with your international experience, obviously spending a lot of time in Europe, now over here, you spend a lot of time here in North America. Do you have, do you think your international experience, both playing and then also just life experience, do you think that you can pass on to the players here and pass on to this club and this community?
Well, I think it's a progress, right? It's not only about me, it's about all of us evolving together and growing together. And hopefully for me, what I'm looking for is all my experience that I had playing-wise, but as well also traveling, seeing different cultures. Hopefully we can bring that together with the people that are already here, try to evolve it and make it better. The foundation piece is already here. Now is working together and creating an alignment as a club that when the fans see that, they know, all right, this is our team. This is the team I am always coming to watch. And that for me, those are the most important thing.
Yeah, and you look at this team from last year, some key pieces coming back. Are there any guys on the club that you're excited to get a chance to work with and kind of help them grow and continue on their games?
Yeah, looking at some of the players that came back, obviously all of them, because
Of course.
because it's very important. I cannot say one or two, but I think getting the time to see all of them and see what they are capable of bringing. But also I'm very excited also to able to see what we can grow, seeing the youth players coming and creating a pathway where we also can see the youth players. But I'm looking forward to see a lot of the returning players because I believe that they have something that they want to show, not only to us as staff, but also to you guys as a fans. Because I think that they know, right? Sometimes you don't need to say it, but they know that they have something to prove. And hopefully we're going to show it this year.
Yeah, I know this fan base, they're certainly excited to see what's coming down the pipeline for this season. In terms of what is coming, is there anything else that you feel like, obviously some new signings have been made, some moves have been made over the last couple of weeks. Is there anything that you want to get done or anything that any type of player you want to bring in over these next few weeks? Obviously, I'm sure you can't go into any specific details, but what would you like to bring into this club?
I think we bring in the pieces that we like. That's the most important thing. In football, yes, you can have dream. I can tell you Messi. But we don't get Cristiano. No, we're not going to get those, right? But we know what kind of players we want to get into this club that will excite the fans. We know what it is, so we're working towards it. And honestly, it's been great. My staff has been watching a lot of videos, a lot of conversation with players, putting their input on it. So it's been great, and the players that we've brought, hopefully, they will continue to show what their capabilities are, and hopefully, excite you guys a lot because that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, and you want to take one step back. Your previous job, you were in Charlotte, up with the MLS, obviously the highest level of American professional football. What kind of did you learn being there with the MLS club, and what kind of have you taken from that you want to kind of install and put into this side here today?
Well, obviously, we cannot get 75,000 in the stadium, but we can get 10, right? And I hope we can get 10, right? Can we get 10 every game? All right. You guys gonna sign on the contract for that? Right? No, but obviously. There you go. No, but obviously for me, the most important thing is that we are together, right? As a club, we are together. And you guys as fans, you are part of the team. You know, bring the passion that you guys going to bring, because I want to make this stadium a fortress, right? That every team that comes in here fear us. And you, the fans, going to play an important part to it. So for us, it's about that. It's about creating a community where their voice is heard, but also as a team, as a club, we listen, we hear them, and we look to get better.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. I know this is, like I said, all of these people, they care a lot about this club here. So, and kind of in line with that, the community, what do you kind of want to bring, not only from yourself, but also from the team? How do you want to be able to get out there and kind of be in the community this year?
It's going to be a team effort, because we have the front office that's going to help us do that, you know, and we players, staff, coaches, we're going to be there, because it's another form of way for the players to understand. Like, as I discussed, we play football for 90 minutes, but to able to go to places and see what other people are doing and take motivation and inspiration from that, it's also very important, you know, because football is not only playing 90 minutes and that's it. It's about the community, because without them, nobody's watching football. That's just the reality. Without the fans, there's no football. You know, it is their game. So we're there to make sure that we're visible to them and we are reachable to them, so that they can be a source of motivation for us as well, on and off the pitch.
Definitely. Definitely. But, so, want to ask you a little bit. So, you haven't, when did you get to Phoenix exactly?
Officially?
Officially. It's only been like a couple days, right?
The 5th.
The 5th. Okay. Again, I'm not, it's the 9th. Again, I barely know what day it is myself.
So I've been here for 4 days and I've been just moving. I've been doing my wife's job, so I finally know how she feels.
So how was the move? How was the move here? How are you liking it so far? I know, like I said, obviously everything's probably a whirlwind, but what are your thoughts so far on Phoenix? Have you been here before this?
I haven't been in Phoenix, but I've been in Tucson for preseason.
Okay. So yeah. So what initial thoughts on the area here?
Beautiful. We were driving and then we saw the sunset. And yesterday I did my first hiking at Pa-Modou. Okay. Not the biggest, but you know, it was.
Work your way up to it.
We walk slowly up, and the next one will be Camelback.
Okay, there we go.
Anybody got better suggestion? Which one? All right, we're doing it together. All of you.
There we go. Yeah, team outing out there. Get
team
everybody.
Outing with the fans.
There you go. Yeah, the front office. We'll get them more to work on that one for you. Just kind of some little things. You know, we got some pretty good Mexican food here. What's your favorite food? Are you excited to try anything from around here?
I'm a very picky eater, but I will try.
Okay, describe picky eater to me.
We don't have a day.
Oh,
trust me.
All right, I feel like this might have to be its own separate. It's going to be its own separate thing entirely on its own.
I'll let my wife tell you.
Okay. So then, what's the favorite? What's the go-to?
Well, obviously African, because my mom's cooking, so I missed it. So when she always come visit, I always make sure that she cook for a couple of months.
Months?
Yeah, you freeze it.
I mean, yeah, you must have a pretty big freezer.
Yes, I do.
Did you have like I know, you know, some people are superstitious. Would you consider yourself a superstitious person?
No.
Okay. A little stitious?
I'm a realist.
Well, did you ever have anything that, you know, before the game, hey, you had to eat this certain meal? No.
Well, we always get spaghetti. So spaghetti, rice, normal things.
So I guess that's what it was essentially then. Huh?
Yes.
So, kind of looking around,
I know I'm boring.
No, I'm having a blast here. It's fun getting to know you. Like I said, I hope the fans here are starting to enjoy it and enjoying to get to know you a little bit as well. If you had, I know we've kind of mentioned a little bit. I know you've talked to the people here, talked to the people that are watching live right now. If you had a message to deliver to all of the fans, to the club, to anybody that's watching this for this upcoming season and, for the next couple seasons, what would that message be from you to them?
My message will be trust the process, show up and show out, because we're going to do that on the pitch, and we're going to need you all.
Love it. Love it. Well, yeah. Well, do want to give an opportunity. Like I said, all these fans, thank you for all coming out here tonight. It's awesome to see you all. And so I wanted to kind of open things up. If anybody had any questions for Coach Pa. I got one over here. Come on over here.
Go on, Ben.
What are you looking forward to do this year?
Hopefully win. Multiple trophies.
Nice.
You happy with that?
Yeah,
Yeah?
that sounds good.
Okay. We have a deal?
Yeah.
There you go, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you. You mentioned multiple trophies. That's one of the new things coming this year. The Jägermeister Cup introduced. Obviously, it's a lot. You've got the league. You've got the U.S. Open Cup. This is a team that certainly looks like they can make a run in that. We've seen it before from USL clubs. But so there's a lot of games to go in. What's kind of your mentality in looking at that and looking at the schedule, knowing, hey, there's going to be a lot of games. You're going to have some weeks where you're going to be really busy.
Isn't that what we signed up for? That's what you want.
Touche.
That's what you want. We'd rather be playing than training. I'll tell you that much. That's what some of the boys will do. I know that if I was still playing, that's what I would like to have. Games, 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 games. That get people excited. And the more games, the better. More opportunities.
And also, the more games, the closer to trophies you're going to end up getting in the end.
Absolutely.
All right. Any other questions out there? Anybody else got anything for Coach Pa here tonight?
Don't be shy.
All right. Would you rather win a game 1-0 or 5-4?
5-4.
And I know. I was going to say, as a former defender, I thought you would go 1-0. I love that answer.
Why?
I love it. More goals.
Do you want to see goals?
I want to see goals.
There you go.
I love it.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm hiding in plain sight.
Hiding in plain sight. That's right. Remember that. I got a question for you. I first got introduced in soccer. I mean, we've had it here in the States for a long time, but I spent quite a bit of time in Europe, and that's when I really started to pay attention to it. What do you see as the difference from the way they play there and what we do here in the States?
The only difference that in Europe is, I call it institutional knowledge. The
Okay.
game has been there for a very long time. It's the same as you turn it around and you say NFL, right?
Seriously.
So NFL here
Yes.
is the holy grail. If you go to Europe, we're now learning about it, right? But the difference is the sport is growing here. Football is growing. World Cup is coming. It will be the second time World Cup will be held here.
Okay.
And I do believe, sincerely, I do believe in a couple of years when the U.S. understand the capacity and the capability they have,
Okay.
they could become
So a better understanding of the game.
they could become a strong soccer nation. But it's going to take all of us, not only one club, but the whole nation to come together and create that. But you see it. Now the younger generation that is coming up, they're falling in love with the game. And those things are the most important things. So we're a little bit behind Europe, but everything, I always say, you take baby step, you'll eventually get to where you need to be.
I'm glad you're here.
So my question.
Don't hide.
Is, yeah.
Don't
no,
hide. Come on, front. Come on.
All right, fine. Then. No worries, then. Hello, coach. I just want to ask a question a bit more specific, but of course you wouldn't be able to.
Don't
provide
make it
too
on
much.
specific then.
No, but I have to. That's just how the demand is. But like, what's the kind of mentality? Because based on the recent signings that we had, it kind of feels like there's this center defensive pivot that you might want to pull. I've kind of seen that when our team, as of last season, tried to transition from defense to midfield and pull the ball back up, they were a bit too sluggish on that, and that sometimes led to drastic losses. So I just wanted to see if there was any kind of attention being paid to that, and just like if you're seeing if you're tracking that kind of thing.
No, obviously, hopefully, we look at the balance, right? The most important thing in a team is you find the balance.
Yeah.
Sometimes you may have too many offensive players, and then you don't have the balance. So for us as a team, we're trying to find the right balance.
Yeah, so I figure it might take like a couple of practice sessions just to preseason to kind
It's
of.
going to take a whole year.
Oh yeah, yeah, I bet. And we'll be in for it all together throughout.
No, but hopefully, we want to keep the ground running in preseason. That's where we're going to do most of our work, and then hopefully when the season comes, that they have enough cohesion and relationship to understand each other. So
Yeah, and,
it's
have
going to take
like
a little bit of time, but we're going to
proper
get there.
system.
Yeah,
that kind
it will be there. Don't worry about it.
Awesome.
Make sure that you show up,
Yeah, of course.
and then critique me.
Yeah, in the South End, I always fly this flag. It's like on it, it has "Love is Love," and a lot of former players have signed it. So maybe you could come by after the game.
I'll come seek you.
Hey, Coach. I
Hello.
got a question. My question is about player development. How do you see the player development here in the United States as an MLS coach and now the USL coach? When you were in MLS versus to how it was when you were an athlete or in Europe, how do you see the player development here? Thank you.
I think it's growing. The difference, again, as I mentioned in Europe, is, and we have Chris Standring, who works with Chelsea and with the youth, who's our video analyst, so he understands it, right? The difference in Europe is you grew up wanting to be a football player, right? That was your option. School was secondary. What the great thing in the US here, what you have is you can go to school and you can play football. And I recommend that because I remember myself, I forget to do my chores and my daddy picked me up from the training. So I understood how important it is. So the most important thing is that we make sure that we have good coaches that can help the players. Because ultimately players want to get better, but we need coaches that are open and willing to help. In due time in the US, it will happen. I have no doubt about it. But for right now, we're lacking behind because of, again, the history that Europe has when it comes to player development, where everybody wanted to be a soccer player, while in US, you can either be a ice hockey player, NFL player, which mostly what the team, basketball players, right? So the soccer is lacking behind because you rather choose those sports for two things. Either you get recruited in college, but also when they give you $50 million a year, the choice is easy.
Why did you become a coach?
So I can inspire.
Cool.
You're welcome.
So before going to Charlotte, you coached and won a trophy in Canada. How would you compare the Canadian Premier League to the USL Championship?
I don't like to make comparison because different league, different people. For me, I want to experience the USL. I didn't have that. I played a couple of games at the end of my career, but as a coach, I would love to win it. I want our team to win something. So for me, it's a new experience that I'm looking forward to, and to be able to do it with the best team in USL, that's fantastic.
Hi.
So last year and the last couple of years, the style of play we played is possession-based. And I always noticed in the final third, there was always the creativity or maybe the skill to make that final pass and get shots on goal. What kind of style do you plan on playing, or do you have one at all that you're thinking of?
Well, again, I love possession based, but with the right intention. There's difference in possession. Like possession based, what is possession based? Keeping the ball in your own half, making 100 to 200 passes, or keeping the ball in the opposition half, creating opportunities. So we're looking to be a balanced team that can attack and defend, but hopefully attack.
Thank you.
Hi, Coach.
Hello.
What kind of leadership do you bring to the locker room? When the players are down, what are you going to do to inspire them to rally back, bring us back to a victory?
It's difficult to sit here and say I'm going to say this and this and this, because right at the moment you're trying to find words. But hopefully for us, we'll be ahead than being behind. But I understand your question. For me, it's about just making sure that the players understand who we are, who they play for, which is the fans, their families, and understand that within 90 minutes, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. But the main important thing I always tell my players is trust the process and trust the work that we've done, and we're going to win. You're welcome.
Hey, how's it going, Coach?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm good. Happy to have you.
Great to be here.
As we move into this next season, as rosters are being finalized and we're getting a better feel for how the squads are going to move into opening season, are there any particular matchups that you're really excited for? Any other squads or teams that you're really looking forward to test yourself against and Phoenix Rising against?
I'm looking forward to play everybody, but I don't know if they will be happy to play us.
Hey, there you go.
Hey, Coach. Slight change of subject. So you mentioned earlier that you're a picky eater. So, how do you feel about onions and cilantro? Separately, of course.
Caramelized onions?
Okay.
I'll take it.
Nice. Do you like cilantro?
No.
That's fair.
I don't know why they put it on the food. There must be some more questions. My staff is right there. Somebody want to ask them questions?
What is your favorite formation to play if you had a preferred staff?
4-3-3.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Je veux poser une question en français, si possible. Ouais.
Avec un français?
Avec en français. Si
Ne parlez anglais?
Peut-être. Mais ma question.
Mais quand tu parles français.
Je pense que cette question a été posée en anglais, mais je voudrais poser une question en français.
Pour moi, parce que quand seulement tu parles français, les lords de l'argent, ils n'ont pas connu rien.
Désolée.
C'est important de ne pas parler anglais un peu.
Quels sont vos objectifs pour l'équipe dans la saison et comment devez-vous accomplir?
Alors, les objectifs de l'équipe, première fois, on a fait jouer pour la gagner, le championnat. Mais pour moi, c'est très important le développement de les gens pour la personne. Parce que quand ça, tout les gens, on ne regarde seulement les footballeurs. Mais pour moi, je regarde les tous. C'est très important pour moi, avec l'équipe, on a fait travail tout jour avec l'objectif pour le gagner.
Merci beaucoup.
Mon poste.
All right. I think I can speak for a majority of us that I don't know exactly what you said, but I'm sure it was very, very good.
Yeah, she just asked me about the objective of the team, and I explained to her the objective of the team, first of all, is to make sure that we trust the process as a team and we work together towards our goals and objective that we set for ourselves, as well as the demands and the expectation. And also make sure that we focus on the human being, because that's also is one of the most important aspect of in our game. And hopefully when they understand and create that cohesion and relationship, that will also lead to being successful on and off the pitch.
That's great. It's what it's sounding like to me is that I'm going to have to start learning a couple new languages here over the next couple months before the season gets going.
Yes.
One more kind of the language. Do you have, not to say like when you get angry, but when you're a little fired up there on the pitch, do you kind of slip in and out of multiple languages?
I think my assistant over there can answer it better. My assistant over there, Vikram Virk, can answer it better than I do.
All right, we'll have to remember to bring that up to him going forward. Well, don't know. Are there any other questions out there from anybody here tonight? Nope. Do have one more.
So, Coach Pa, I was just wondering, when I was looking up at your Pacific FC tenure, one of the views that you had with your players was to have a very familial locker room. Has that changed since the past 3 years, or is it kind of still the same vibe you want with your players, to be very familial, be very friendly with one another, or as you more evolve to be more arm's length with the players?
No, for me, I'm the same, right? I'm never gonna shy away from being a friend, a father, an uncle, a mother. Because again, like I said, for me, it's about the players of who they are, right? We have to understand their whys, because a player is still a normal human being. He goes through the same struggles that I'm gonna have, that you're gonna have, and to be a distant coach, I've never been that, and I'm not gonna be that, because I believe in, if you're working with some people and when you're working with a group, you have to be there for them, because they're gonna need them, and I'm gonna need them. I may be the guy that is just standing screaming at them, but ultimately, it's their game. We have to make sure that they're in good condition to perform. But for me, being a family, that's the most important thing.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I think that just about wraps us up here this evening. I want to say thank you to all of you for coming out here tonight. Thank you to Pedal House for hosting us up here on the rooftop here in downtown Phoenix. I want to thank you again for coming out here. Coach, thank you. Welcome. I know that we're all very excited to see what this team and what you can do. We're going to be having another one of these shows next month. We're going to start sorting out the details. We'll make sure to make that well known. We'll see. Maybe we'll get you back out here again one more time, huh?
No. Then if I'm coming back, then I need all my staff as well.
There you go. The looks over there, I don't necessarily think they're all too pleased about that one. But
they have no choice.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you're in charge, you get to make what they do. So, awesome. Well, thank you to everybody watching us here over the internet, wherever it may be. Thank you again to everybody here. Good night, and welcome, Coach Pa.
Thank you for having me.